Today we are going to study the meditation as a gradual process. How we can identify it as a gradual process. Perhaps some of you know some reasons. In this discussion, basically I am focusing to discuss some proper steps you to practice and to success your meditation life. Sometimes we can say these factors as prior steps, as well as we can say as proper steps. Regarding the last phrase, don't be in a rush, means actually you have to understand, don't be in a rush towards its results, right? It is not, I am talking about you no need to rush, but in this way you can understand. In the teachings of the Buddha, appamada or heedfulness is very essential factor, right? Appamada means heedfulness or diligence, that we should include it in our life, right? For the practice of the meditation, you can use your heedfulness, but regarding the results, don't be in a rush, right? The results is there. Sometimes we cannot see the results. It depends on the nature of the practitioners. This is introduction. For the meditation, normally we are using the Pali term bhavana, which is very familiar with you. Pali term bhavana has a wider meaning than the term meditation in English. Sometimes we are using meditation or mental culture or as mental development. These are some similar meanings to the term meditation. It involves the development of a full person. It is the development of a person in respect of person outwards behavior as well as inner nature. So, in the case of meditation or bhavana, we are talking about the development of a full person. We are not talking about the mind development, right? But something more. Therefore, it is the cultivation of the mind, body, and the verbal behaviors, right? So, these are the aims. That one is called in discourses as kaya bhavana, chitta bhavana, vachi bhavana. Kaya bhavana means cultivation of body. Chitta bhavana, cultivation of mind. Vachi bhavana means the cultivation of verbal behaviors. So in this way, the bhavana means something more than the meditation in English language. Two types of meditation. These two types are very familiar with us. The first one is samatha. Samatha is to develop some degree of calm or calmness, a degree of tranquility in the mind. Aim is the attainment of meditative absorption or jhana. It frees the mind from impurities and inner obstacles and gives greater penetrative strength. So this is what we should have to learn about the samatha practice, samatha meditation. Basically, it is a development of the mind. The highest level is, we can say, as the absorption or jhana development stages. And also, this is not a unique teaching of the Buddha. It means actually, even during the time of the Buddha, some of yogins or some of philosophers or some of the people, those who are under the practice of development of mind, they really practice like these types of development. That is why it is said as not a unique teachings of the Buddha. Then the vipassana meditation, based on that calmness and tranquility, one could proceed to cultivate wisdom or insight. That is called vipassana, which is called vipassana meditation. So, as recommended in the Buddhist teaching, based on that calmness or that tranquility that develop within the practice of samatha, one can continue the next level, that is called insight. Insight is an English term to for the vipassana. Insight is the penetrative understanding by direct meditative experience of the impermanency, anicca, unsatisfactoriness, dukkha, and impersonality, that is called anatta, of all material and mental phenomena of existence. So, in the case of insight meditation, what we are going to do is we are going to get meditative experiences regarding what is the nature of, real nature of the things. That is impermanency, unsatisfactoriness or dukkha, and impersonality, that is anatta, we call as three characteristics. This is what we are going to do with vipassana meditation regarding all the material and mental existences. It is insight that leads to enter into the supermundane state of holiness and final liberation. So, generally we can understand with the help of the samatha meditation, we can develop our mind into its highest level to get absorption and to make our mind balance. That is called equanimity. Then using that calmness, we can develop our cultivation to the inside. That is called a vipassana culture. That leads to entrance into the supramundane or supermundane state of holiness. That one, holiness means the final stage of spiritual or supermundane level of in Buddhism, or the final liberation. Then we can think about some relationship in between those two factors. We can see they are as mutually supportive factors. Samatha and Vipassana we can suppose as mutually supportive factors, because the development of tranquility leads to high degree of mastery over the mind, and thereby forms a basis for the development of insight. So we can say the basis is given by the tranquility to continue the development of the insight. When insight is developed by calm and steady mind, it will be able to penetrate into the deeper regions of the mind and thereby bring about the true inner change. So it means actually if we can use samatha as first steps or the basis, we can fortify our experience that is related to the vipassana culture. It is sometimes it is really pointed out in the discourses that the samatha, taking as samatha as a basis, someone can easily go to the vipassana culture. Because the reason is, I think, at that moment, the calmness and equanimity, together with purified mindfulness, is there. Then such a person can easily grasp the vipassana meditation. Both developments are required to achieve knowledge and for the eradication of mental defilements. So other relationship is, both are very essential to achieve the knowledge and for the eradication of mental defilements or mental taints, the impurities of our minds. Both are very important. Even though tranquility on its own is not able to lead to awakening, it does have an important function to perform for the achievement of that aim. So, by using only the tranquility, we cannot go to the real God. We cannot go to reach to the real liberation, but it has a great important function to perform. It has very helpful to achieve to that final liberation. So this is the gradual process. When we are thinking about the aim of the Buddhist meditation, it is for the supermundane state, that is the final destination of Buddhist meditation. Even though it does not remove the development of mundane well-being, since this is a gradual process for liberations. So gradually we should have to practice and we should have to develop our inner nature, that is to remove the impurities of mind and to develop the insight. That's a gradual process. It means if we can develop it into some extent that we can get some benefits to success our mundane well-being very well. So in this discussion, basically depends on this particular sutta that is called Ganaka Moggallana Sutta. It contains a discussion between the Buddha and the Brahmin Ganaka Moggallana. There is a discussion. In this particular discourse, the Buddha said to him that it is possible to describe a gradual process in his teaching which directs towards the final liberation as gradual scheme of exercise. So, Buddha mentioned this fact to Brahmin Ganaka Moggallana like this. These are the gradual steps, gradual training, that is called Anupubba Sikka. Right? Sikka means training. Anupubba means gradual. Then Anupubba Kiriya, gradual deeds. And Anupubba Patipada, gradual practice. So it means to develop our path towards the liberation, we have to think about all these factors, right? Gradual training, gradual deeds, gradual practice. At the very beginning, when we are practicing, this gradual process is very important. That is why it is said in the discourses, even when we are practicing the Eightfold Path, we should have to practice gradually. At first, it is very important, but later, we no need to focus much attention to them. Automatically, you can practice. It is like this. The proper steps in gradual process. The Buddha further said to him that just clever horse trainer obtain a fine horse, he first makes him get used to wearing a bit and afterwards trains him further. So this simile is in the particular discourse that is in Ganaka Moggallana Sutta. The trainer or clever horse trainer, after having taken a horse, fine horse, firstly he is going to use wearing a bit for the protection. And after that, he trained him further. Similarly, when the Buddha obtained a person to be tame, he first disciplines like this. So this we can suppose as some disciplinary methods. So these steps we can suppose as some disciplinary methods to get some good behavior. These are the purposes. There are 6 proper steps in this discourse, and they can identify as prior disciplinary methods for the person who expects to build his life up with meditation. So as I said earlier, we can suppose as some proper and prior steps, prior disciplinary methods for the person who expects to build up his life with meditation. Perhaps it is impossible to focus them as a noble disciple did, but try to follow even in some extent. That will bring you a powerful energy to continue your meditation life very well. This means when we are going to look at these factors, they are really applicable with the noble disciples. It means the training methods of the noble disciples that they have practiced, the way that they have practiced. But perhaps sometime when we are going to practice all this, it is quite impossible for us to reach that extreme level. But of course, it doesn't matter. We can continue and we can practice them to get some extent. And if we can get some extent, some development, then it is very helpful to success our meditation life very well. The first step is called Silava Hoti. It is very familiar with us. Be virtuous. Silava Hoti, this is the first factor. I think all of you know something about the virtue or the first factor. Virtue is for restraining from wrong bodily actions and verbal actions. We are using virtue especially to away from our wrong bodily actions and verbal actions. That is called in the discourses Kaya Vacha Samodanang Silang. Basically focusing our bodily behavior and our verbal behavior. So in the case of virtue, it is not only for observing, but also for protecting. This is most important. Observing precepts is quite easy, but the protecting is quite difficult, but it is the most important factor, right? So in this case, observing and protecting both are very important. So there are 2 special virtues for the laity. For the lay people, there are 2 types. The permanent virtue and the virtue of the full moon day. These are the 2 types of virtue for the lay people. Permanent virtue is the 5 moral rules. Earlier we had observed the 5 precepts. That one we call the permanent virtue. That is because which have no time frame and should be preserved during the whole life period. That is why we are calling them as permanent virtue. The virtue that we should have to practice daily. Then the other types, virtue of the full moon day. It is the preservation of 8 moral rules for that day, for the full moon days, especially for the full moon days. The people, Buddhist followers, are observing these 8 moral rules. I believe all of you know something about all these rules. Then the third, there is another virtues that is called Kusala Sila. Sometimes some of you know about this type. That is, in English we call wholesome virtue. This is also the virtue of the full moon day. It has 8 rules. 3 wholesome bodily actions, that is called Kusalang Kaya Kammang. Kusalang Kaya Kammang, 3 types of wholesome bodily actions. These are similar to the first 3 5 precepts, right? These are the bodily, wholesome bodily actions. The second, 4 types of wholesome verbal actions. Kusalang Vachi Kammang. In these precepts, we can see 4 types of verbal actions. One of them is very familiar with us, that is the 4th precepts, Musavada, that is telling lies, one of them. The other 3 are slanderous speech, her speech, and gossip. These are the other 3. In Pali, we call Musavada, means telling lies. Parusavacha, her speech, then Sampappalapa, gossip. The other one is what we call slanderous speech. Yes, these are the 4 types. So we have to away from all these 4 types. Then altogether there are 7 factors. Then the last one is the purification of livelihood. Micca Ajiva Veramani Sikkapadan Samadhyami. That means purification of livelihood, that is earning and living in righteous way. That is called Ajiva Parisuddhi, Sila. So altogether we call Kusala Sila as Ajiva Parisuddhi Sila because of the last one, that is earning and living in righteous way, right? So these 8 virtue we call kusala sila. This is also very important when we are practicing meditation, because we can away from, especially we can away from 4 types of wrong verbal actions, and they can keep our silence very calmly during our meditation process. Oh, that is very important. Then the second step is guard the doors of your sense faculties. This is about for us to guard, we should have to guard or protect our doors of sense faculties. That is called in Pali, Indriyesu Guttadvaro. We have to protect our faculties or indriyas. It is like this, as pointed out in the discourse. On seeing a form with the eye, do not grasp it at its signs and features. If you do not grasp your eye faculty, evil, unwholesome state of greed and unhappiness, that is abhijja and domanassa, might attack you. That is because we should we have to protect our eye from the form. That is because if we grasp the signs of that eye, then definitely our eye faculty might attack with evil, unwholesome state of greed, that is called abhijja, and unhappiness, that is domanassa. So the reason is actually sometime when we have any external object to our eye, sometime we like the objects and we agree with experience, and sometimes we disagree, right? If we agree, then it is kind of grasping to that objects. That is called abhijja. That is one level. The other level is if you are unhappy because of your disagreeable object, then your thoughts is like to domanassa or unhappiness or anger with that form. So this is the reason. Similarly, you can think about the other faculties as well. On hearing a sound with the ear, on smelling a scent with the nose, on tasting a flavor with the tongue, on touching a tangible with the body, and on cognizing a mind object with the mind, do not grasp at their signs and features. So this is what it is mentioned in the particular discourse. And of course there is another very significant factors. Quite another way is discussed in Indriya Bhavana Sutta, right? That is also very important to get some knowledge regarding the faculties. In in another way. Faculty experiences are three types according to that sutta: agreeable, disagreeable, and both agreeable and disagreeable. These are the, when we are when we have some external object, such as when we are getting some smelling, flavor, tangible object, mind object, and every time we are experiencing sometime agreeable or like, dislike, or both together, right? Then this Indriya Bhavana Sutta is showing the way that noble disciples or noble ones, how they are practicing regarding the faculties, how they are going to guard their faculties from external objects. So they are thinking, when they met some objects to their faculties, they think like this: these feelings are conditioned, gross, and dependently arisen. So these are the three factors. They think these are conditioned. Condition means, in Pali we call sankata. Sankata means, in simply language, it means this condition made by me, right? Condition, this nature made by me. It means I am the person who gives the value or disvalue to this particular subject or object, right? That is, we call sankata, made by me. That is my experience or my understanding. I am the person who is giving this condition to that experience, right? Then the gross means kind of it is not belong to the worthy ones or noble ones. That is the meaning of gross. It is gross. It is for the ordinary people, not for the noble ones. And also they are thinking as the dependently arisen factors. So these views or these experiences are due to cause and effect theory, dependently arise. All of these have cause and effect. In this way, the noble ones, they are not going to grasp all these things. Then they are thinking further, this is peaceful and sublime. That is equanimity. Right? So what they are going to do is to arise the equanimity. May I avoiding both repulsive and unrepulsive. It means another name to both agreeable and disagreeable, right? Perhaps we have given as repulsive, perhaps we are giving as unrepulsive, right? As true two extremes. May I, avoiding both these, abide in equanimity, mindful and clear comprehension. So in this way, the noble disciple is going to arise the equanimity in his regarding these faculties. So we also, when we are practicing our meditation, most of time we have to guard our faculties, right? We are not going to grasp anything, and we are not going to blame anything. So that is one of the aims of the meditation, right? So in this way, we also can practice. Perhaps we cannot practice as noble followers did, but we can practice in some stage to success our meditation life. Then the third factor, be moderate in eating. That is called bhojane mattanyuta. It is about eating. Reflecting wisely, you should take food neither for enjoyment, nor for intoxication, nor for the sake of physical beauty and attractiveness, but only for the survival and continuance of this body, for ending discomfort and for assisting the holy life, considering, thus I shall terminate all feelings without arousing new feelings, and I shall be healthy and blameless and shall live in comfort. In this way, the person who is practicing meditation is going to see the purpose of eating, right? As results, he can understand the purpose of eating. It is for the purpose of, for the survival and continuance of the body. This is the purpose. So, when someone can understand the purpose, then it doesn't matter, he or she can eat anything, because without selecting any items, they can take whatever it is. And also, the taste is not very important. That is one thing. But no, in our day-by-day life, normally we are taking food while considering the taste, right? But when we are practicing meditation, the taste is not very important. So that is one of the results that we can get, having seen the purpose of eating. And of course, they can measure the limit of eating. The limit of eating is very important to continue our meditation life, especially when we are meditating. Less eating is very comfort to continue it. That is why it is it is recommended in this way. If we are taking much, then perhaps we need to take a sleep or nap. These are not very good steps to continue our meditation. Then the next step, that is, be devoted to wakefulness. That is, in Pali, Jagariyang Anuyutto. be devoted to wakefulness. So, according to the discourse, it is like here I have mentioned for some facts. During the daytime, while walking back and forth and sitting, purify your mind of obstructive states. That is called Avaraniya Dhamma. So it means the meditator during the daytime should practice walking meditation, right? That is its recommended way. And of course, the sitting meditation. Basically, these are the two meditations that we are going to do. Walking meditation and sitting meditation. In the first watch of the night, the first time of the night, while walking back and forth and sitting, purify your mind of obstructive states. So, in the first watch also the meditator should practice walking meditation and sitting meditation while purifying the mind of obstructive states. In the middle watch of the night, you should lay down with mindfulness and full aware. After noting in your mind the timing of rising. So this is in the middle watch. Middle watch, if we can make some tentative time. It is like after 10 p.m. After 10 p.m. to 4 p.m. We can take a rest while lay down with mindfully. And we have to note the time that I should get up. That's very important. Then if you are doing it very carefully with mindfully, then definitely you can get up on time. That is very important. The last or third watch after rising, in the third watch of the night, while walking back and forth and sitting, purify your mind of obstructive states, right? So this is the last watch. Again, you are going to practice the meditation. Every time something you have to do, that is, you have to purify your mind from obstructive states. As obstructive states, normally we can talk as hindrances, other obstructive states, are very familiar obstructive states that are covering our spiritual life. That is called Avaraniya Dhamma. So, so perhaps you know the hindrances, or 5 hindrances. These are the basic obstructive states. As a result of gradual training, you can purify your mind from greediness, that is abhijja, the first hindrance, and from ill will, that is vyapada, from sloth and torpor, that is tīna middha, from restlessness and remorse, that is uddhacca kukkucca, and from doubt, that is vicikicca. So while practicing sitting meditation and walking meditation, you can try to manage your mind, try to purify your mind from these obstructive states. Sometimes when these obstructive approaches are coming into our mind, sometimes we cannot continue our process very well. So that is why it is very important you to try to not to arise them in you when you are practicing. At the very beginning it is quite impossible for you, but when you are gradually practicing, it is very easy you to continue your practice very well. In some cases, in some places actually, instead of the abhijja, we can see kama chanda, right? Both are quite similar. It is similar, greediness. Kama chanda means attachment to sensual pleasure. They are similar, since these are, we call defilements or impurities of the minds, right? Then the fifth, be possessed of mindfulness and clear comprehension. Sati sampajanyena samannagato. Sati and sampajanya. There are two factors. We have to process with mindfulness and clear comprehension. It is like this according to the discourse: act in full awareness when going forward and returning, when looking ahead and looking away, when bending and extending your limbs, when wearing your clothes, when eating, drinking, consuming food and tasting, when defecating and urinating, when walking, standing, sitting, falling asleep, waking up, talking and keeping silence, right? In all activities, we should have to do with mindfully and with clear comprehension. It is very important. So, sati sampajanya. Sati means mindful, right? Satipatthana means establishment of mindfulness. So, here actually focusing area is you have to do all this very mindfully. When you are going to do, when you are going to eat, you should have to think that you are going to eat. Right? It is like this. Sampajanya means full awareness or clear comprehension. We have to pay our full awareness towards whatever we are going to do as meditation followers. This term is frequently met in combination with mindfulness. So these terms are going together as in accordance with the facts of discourses. Sati sampajanya, both two terms are going together. Mindfulness with clear comprehension. So this is nothing but doing our daily activities with mindfully and clear comprehension. This is something that we need to think when we are doing our daily activities in our life, even though you are in your house or in your working place or wherever, you should have to do all the activities with mindfully and clear comprehension. The last factor. The last factor is that is called in Pali Vivittang Senasanang Bhaja. It means resort to a secluded resting place. This is about resting places, the place where we should have to select for our meditation. In most of the cases, in most of time, there are 3 recommended places. Perhaps you know, even in the Satipatthana Sutta also we can see Aranya, Rukkamula, Sunyagara. These are the 3 places. Aranya means the forest. Rukkamula means the root of a tree. Sunyagara means the empty house, like this place. This is quite empty place. Bhavana Sala. It's an empty place. Only you can come to meditate. Right? It is like this. So apart from there are various types of resting places, but these are the 3 main resting places. Firstly, when you are going to start your meditation, selecting place is very important, because since you are a newcomer to meditation, then you should need a calm and quiet place. But of course, when you can develop your calmness into some extent, perhaps you can continue your meditation wherever you can. No need to go this type of resting places, as because of the fact is you can manage your practice very well. You have some experience to continue it. In this way, the discourse is going like this. After abandoning 5 hindrances, quite secluded from sensual pleasure, that is called kama, and from unwholesome states, akusala. So, this is the process that the meditator is going to do after having selected a resting place. Then gradually he entered into the first absorption, that is called first jhana, that arises due to seclusion, viveka jhana. The second jhana that arises due to concentration, that is called samadhi jhana. And the third absorption that arises as a pleasurable living with equanimity, upekkako, right? And the fourth, upekkako and mindfulness, satima. So this is the third, arises pleasurable living with equanimity and mindfulness. The last absorption is that has neither pain nor pleasure, but the purity of mindfulness due to the equanimity. This is the nature of the fourth absorption. Upekka sati parisuddhi. So this is the gradual process to take or grasp the absorptions, right? When we are going to see all this absorption or jhana, it is quite clearly we can understand the stages of development of the mind, right? The first absorption, it's like it arises due to seclusion. Then the second one is arises due to concentration or samadhi. Then the third one is arise as a pleasurable living with equanimity. In the third level, you can see the equanimity and mindfulness as you can experience. In the last, you can experience the purify of mindfulness. You can purify your mindfulness due to your equanimity. So these are the development stages of mindfulness, right? Then equanimity is very important in this case. We can suppose as one of the factor also to develop one of the steps as we can develop it in the process of meditation. So equanimity is a balanced state of mind that cannot be changed by gain and loss, honor or dishonor, praise or blame, pleasure and pain. The equanimity is like this. We cannot change. It's a balanced state of mind. The conclusion. These are some prior steps for the followers who need external and internal strong foundation in order to cultivate the inside meditation as the way towards the final liberation. It is clear. As benefits of 6 factors, followers can restrain their wrong bodily and verbal actions. They can protect faculties from evil, unwholesome state of greed and unhappiness, can understand the purpose of eating and value of moderating it, and can purify mind from obstructive states. Possible to do all daily activities with mindfully and clear comprehension, and can purify mindfulness because of balance of state of mind, that is equanimity. So these are some benefits. These benefits can get for all the people, those who are practicing. So pay your heedfulness, that is called appamada, towards the path, as it is way to the heedless, deathlessness, right? It means your heedfulness or diligence is very important to start your practice or start your meditation process. It is because of that reason the Buddha said, appamado amatapadam. Appamada means heedfulness, as it is the way to deathlessness or nibbana. Those who have heedfulness, is quite easy to reach to the deathlessness or nibbana. But do not rush to get results. Do not rush regarding the results, since it depends on character, right? This is one reason. So that's why we should not rush regarding the results. It is because of it depends on the character of the people that who is practicing. Sometime if someone did the practice in other lives, then immediately such a person can get some good result. But if we are the newcomers to the practice, then it is quite late we can get some results. So sometimes that we cannot see our results, but of course when you are practicing gradually, of course we can get the results in this process. Okay, this is what I want to discuss with you today. If you have any questions or any comments in this discussion, now we can discuss something. Okay.
Bhante Sukhihantu, thank you very much for the this morning's teachings. It's a very it's an eye-opener. We do meditation. We know a little bit of this and that. This is a compressed version. One of the charts you were talking about is about the 5 hindrances. Yeah, the chart actually lists out what are the hindrances. I think in practical sense, we face them every time we sit. Of course, over time, we have actually tried different ways to, encounter the problems with the 5 hindrances. But today, just for the benefit of us who are still struggling, Bhante, would you please let us know how we can overcome these hindrances? It's still a challenge. Especially the sleep and stupor is still a challenge. Yeah, the thoughts are lesser, but now when we meditate, we can see ourselves falling into sleep, like we are watching a show. You're going into the sleep. But in terms of the thoughts used to be very very fast and so many, it's now more calm and lesser, and then we can identify the wholesome and unwholesome. But the sleepiness part is still a concern. Even though we eat less, it's still a concern.
Okay.
Thank you, Bhante.
Okay, you are talking about the hindrances, that is called avaraniya dhammas, right? So actually, meditation is the path to overcome these hindrances, right? Gradually, actually, we can reach that level. But, the basic step is we should have to practice the samatha culture, samatha meditation. Samatha is the place where we can stop the hindrances. So perhaps when you are practicing this path or these steps as well, gradually you can release the limit of the hindrances. That is, so without practicing, I think it is quite difficult, regarding the hindrances. So hindrances are actually the impurities of the mind. When we are developing our mind, we can reduce little by little. There are some meditation also that normally we are practicing. As for the meditation also, that some of meditation are focusing to erase our mind from our negative thoughts, right? For instance, normally we are taking the metta meditation. When we are taking about the metta meditation, what we are going to do is, instead of the anger, we are going to develop the loving kindness. That is one way, right? Anger is not a good factor, since it is a defilement. So we are going to reduce the anger using, instead of it, as loving kindness, so metta. This is the way. So we have to collect some good thoughts, right, to away from all these impurities of mind. That is one way, right? While one way is going to reduce your mindfulness towards the liberation. For using some meditation subjects, you can develop your mind with good qualities, right? This is the way. When you are practicing, gradually you can reduce the level of the power of the hindrances. That is why it is mentioned the development of the tranquility as the way to reduce and to stop the rising of hindrances. Okay, this is what I can mention you. Anything you have? Or is it clear about these six steps? Yeah.
Good morning, Bhante and Sukhihotu. Bhante, I have come to this Vihara a few times whenever they organize non-stay-in retreats, 2 days or 3 days. So when I come to this Vihara for the retreat, I try to learn, practice, but somehow or other when I reach home, go home, I cannot get into a routine. So although I come here a few times for meditation retreat, I still consider myself an absolute beginner for meditation. I can get into a routine concerning dana. I can come here, I sort of dedicate every Saturday to come here to offer dana. But I cannot get into a routine for meditation, and I seek guidance from Bhante.
Okay. It's okay. Okay, now you know something about meditation, and you can practice, perhaps you can practice in your home as well. But if you like to practice it with a teacher, that is very important at the very beginning, right? When you can reach to some level, you can practice it while taking some advices from the teachers, right? So, yes, meditation is actually very important. You know, Dana, Sila, Bhavana, have you heard? 3 types. Dana is not enough, Sila is not enough, but the Bhavana also. We should have to do all these 3. The aim of these 3 are quite different. That is why 3 of them are very important. Regarding the dana, basically we can reduce our craving. It's very important, craving as the main defilement. Sila, as I said earlier, we should have to cultivate our good behavior, especially the verbal behaviors and bodily behavior. But in the case of meditation, we should have to develop our mind from the samatha practice. Normally we are developing our mind into its maximum stage, and that stage we are using to develop the vipassana. That is, vipassana means insight, or that is about gaining the jnana, having seen the real nature of thing, that we can get the jnana. So this is the way to. That is why these 3 are very important. They mention as Trividha Punya Kriya. These 3 are the basic meritorious deeds, right? We need to success our life, not only this life, but also future lives as well. It's okay.